Welcome to FBB Forum. My name is David, and this podcast is dedicated to all the amazing women competing in bodybuilding. If you like this content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow my YouTube and Instagram pages. I'm very pleased to welcome the amazing IFBB Pro women's bodybuilder, Kyna Squarey. Did I say the last name right?
You absolutely did.
Okay, cool. Kyna just recently competed at the Vancouver Island Showdown, where she placed third in a very tough lineup. And the FBBC guys, female bodybuilding channel, say that she was the most conditioned athlete at the show, and I agree with you on that. She looked fantastic. In 2024, Kyna competed at 4 shows and really looked great at all of them. She was at Tampa, Chicago, Toronto, and Atlanta. Kyna lives in Newfoundland up in Canada and works as a neurologist, which I think is super impressive. Stay tuned to find out more about this amazing woman and where she will compete next. So it's great to see you, Kyna, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, David. It's lovely to finally get to talk to you.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. And I've been following your career for a while, and you're really amazing, and you can just keep getting better too. You're doing great.
You're sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, in terms of getting started in bodybuilding, I was curious if you had an athletic or a sports background before you started competing, and particularly in bodybuilding.
Uh, I think like a lot of women, we come from a sports background. So yeah, I was a gymnast since a very young age, and but after that, I I started going to the gym and weightlifting. I was in university, but I wasn't with a very supportive person at the time, and felt that, very discouraged that I would not be any good at it. So I just kept going with my studies and ended up going to university for about 17 years. So
Wow.
didn't have much time to do anything else. But I was really more of a cardio junkie. So I ran like 21, over 20 marathons anyway,
Really?
into triathlons, biking, swimming, those types of things. And so that's kind of where my sports background comes from. Is more of an endurance athlete than anything.
I noticed the behind you. Is that some of the from your running that you did?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to several ladies who got started in running first and then and you said gymnast earlier too, that
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then got into bodybuilding later. That's great. Yeah. Um
So I guess that's why I can still do it because I start my bodybuilding career has been very short, so my body wasn't that beat up. So I could start it later in life.
oh
Um,
yeah. How long have you competed in bodybuilding and in terms of getting involved in weight training and who convinced you to do your first contest?
so, I think again, I think a lot of us have a lot of women have similar stories. Got out of a very bad relationship, um, and decided, I was discouraged from doing this, so now I'm going to do it. And I was running my last Boston Marathon. I was running the Boston Marathon the last time I did it, and my daughter always loved going to the Boston Marathon. And I went this last year because the time before was, I don't, if you remember the bombing in Boston, she
Yeah.
was there, and I didn't want her to remember Boston like that. So we went
Mhm.
again. And when I was running it, I was like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. I'm running this because she wants to be here and she enjoys cheering me on. So
Yeah, I
I
gotcha.
came home and I said, I really want to do something different. But and I really want to give bodybuilding a try. And I wasn't sure if I could do it because I'm shy as a person. So
Yeah.
getting up on stage in front of people in, essentially not very much clothes it just seemed like very out of the box for me. And I still struggle with that. Like, I don't mind the training, I don't mind the dieting, but I have a mild heart attack every time I gotta get up on stage.
I understand, yeah.
So, you know, and that's why I did 4 shows last year. It wasn't because I thought I was going to get any better, if you will, because the shows were very close together, but it
Yeah.
was just so I could get used to getting up on stage and competing in front of people.
Oh, I see. Oh, I
Yeah.
see, yeah.
So, anyway, that's kind of how things started for me. I've been bodybuilding since 2016, 2017.
Oh, nice.
So
Very
not
cool.
that long.
Yeah.
And I remember my first coach. I was just Newfoundland is not known for bodybuilding, if you will. There's not a lot of bodybuilders here.
Yeah.
But I found so it took me a while to find somebody who could help me because I didn't know what I was doing.
Uh-huh.
And I remember her. We met at Starbucks, and she was like, I didn't know what I was going to do with this runner who had no muscle.
Oh.
I think I was all
Uh-huh.
of 108 pounds when I started.
Oh, wow, really?
So, you know, and
Wow.
I've been up as high as 180 now. So, you know,
Oh, wow.
that's almost double my body weight.
That's amazing. Wow. Oh, goodness. Wow.
So, you know, that's kind of my story.
That's great. I was thinking the closest bodybuilder that I know of to you is Alyssa Coppolino, who's in New Brunswick. But
Okay.
and she's the only one I know of who's in New Brunswick. And I don't know of
Yeah.
any of in Nova Scotia or PEW or anything like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Or
No,
PEI, I'm sorry.
there's not a lot. You know, but I was talking to some people the other day. I'd really like to start trying to promote it more. And, you know, I think it's a it's a great sport. And we have a lot of people that are involved in gymnastics and cheerleading and things here. I mean, they'd
Yeah,
be, you know, great to push into like fitness and things like that. So,
that'd be
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a little maritime bodybuilding show. That'd be kind of neat. Yeah.
Oh, there are maritime bodybuilding shows here. There's
Yeah.
Heather LeBlanc is a big promoter. She has a number of shows
Okay.
in the Atlantic region, but I just find that over the last number of years, anyway, that I've been involved in bodybuilding, it hasn't been as popular. We'll say that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah. And it is, like we talked about before recording, smaller population too. So
True.
you're
Yeah.
kind of on the end of the earth out there in Newfoundland out there.
We're closer to Europe than we are to say anywhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have that, we talked about that weird time zone thing. You have that like a half step
Half
time zone,
hour,
which is
yeah.
weird.
It's
Yeah.
we're 1.5 hours ahead of the Eastern Standard Time. Yeah,
Yeah. Which is weird. That would take a while to get
I
used
know.
to.
Yeah, I know. All the TV shows come on later too. I always have to record them, or I wouldn't watch a TV show.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Oh man, no, that's interesting though. I was curious, do you have a fitness role model or somebody that you really look up to in bodybuilding?
You know, I was thinking you might ask me that, and I really don't. The reason I respect all of the women that do this. You know, anybody that can, you know, train and diet and get up on stage. Like when I go to the competitions, I respect all of the women that I'm competing against as well as those I just meet backstage. You know, like at the Vancouver Island Pro, I was so amazed at the camaraderie in the women's physique division. Like
Yeah,
they had a big group competing, and they were really supportive, and I thought they were, you know, just awesome. So.
that's terrific. Yeah. Yeah, it was I've heard that's just a really well-run show and the promoters do a good job of making it
They
look
did.
so
You know
welcome.
what, Corey? It was the first. David, I was talking about Corey. Corey
No
is
problem.
one of the promoters,
Yeah.
and he and I think his name is Andrew. I'm sorry. I mean, they came up to me. They made, you know, they knew that I was a pro. They introduced themselves. They showed me around. They were, you know, even like hair and makeup, Bombshell Productions were, they were very, you know, it was a very well run, supportive show.
Great. I've
Yeah,
heard that about that show. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think the problem with it,
It's
it's
just
hard to get
it's so
to.
hard to get there. It's
Yeah.
not easy even for us Canadians. I mean, I went from the furthest east point to the furthest west point in
I know.
Canada. So you talk about time zones. Like, I mean, it's the same, I guess, as going from east to west in the U.S. There's 4.5 hours, between, um, or 4 hours anyway between the two.
Yeah, that's true. I know that would be tough, I know, and kind of expensive too to get to Victoria from what I've heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
BC's not cheap.
Hmm. If it was in Vancouver in the city, I think it would be a little bit better because it'd be a little easier to get to. But having
Yeah.
it that second step of flying to Victoria or taking the ferry seems like kind of challenging, I think.
You're
Plus, it was
very knowledgeable. Not everybody knows that, but yes, yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
plus I would somebody had told me somebody in the know that it was Easter weekend,
It
and so they
was.
thought the that the ferry would be busier than usual because
It
people were
was.
on break and stuff too.
There were cops everywhere in Victoria because I guess everybody likes to go to Victoria for Easter weekend from Vancouver.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, there's quite a police presence that I was shocked at. And we were staying in a condo downtown, so it was
Hmm.
quite busy.
It was sad too that Vancouver, that crazy guy ran over a bunch of people at the Filipino festival in Vancouver just this past weekend. So,
Oh,
um,
okay. I didn't
yeah.
hear.
Oh no, it's really yeah, really tragic. Like 11 people died, I think, and
Oh my God.
very sad. Yeah.
So I'm one of these people that sees bad things all day, and I don't watch the news when I come home because
Oh,
I don't have any more um, mental power to do it. I guess so. I try and put light thing. If I'm gonna have TV on, it's gonna be something light that's gonna make me laugh, and just
I understand. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I totally understand that. Yeah, it's just sad. So I was like, yeah.
it
So,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the now so the Vancouver Island show, in terms of your experience there in Victoria, what was it like backstage? Was there kind of a good Iron Sisterhood there? And how was the promoters and the expediters and everybody?
The show was very well run. Um, I got to meet the people that were competing, but I felt more cool. The women's physique division had a very, very good camaraderie there. Maybe
Yeah.
that's because there were more of them.
Yeah.
But it was like I want to go back. Like it was a lovely experience. Even though it was harder to get to and it was very expensive, but I wouldn't hesitate to go back to that show.
Yeah. I've heard that from other ladies who've been there that it was just such a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Terrific. That's really cool. And I heard Victoria's a beautiful place too.
Victoria's a lovely place. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it just happened to be the third most. I think I read or heard that it's the third most expensive place in Canada to live. So behind
Oh,
Vancouver and Toronto.
really?
So
Oh.
I won't be moving there anytime soon.
Oh no, yeah, that's not good.
But there's a
Um,
lot of I keep my you know looking at different jobs and whatnot, and there's a lot of jobs for neurologists out in BC and Victoria, so
really?
it's always possibility, I guess.
Oh, that's very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I've never been to BC, but I'd like to check it out sometime. I've heard it's
Oh,
nice.
you should. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Now, in terms of last year, you mentioned you did the four shows. How did that season go for you? And I thought you looked great, but how did you feel like in terms of the flow for the four shows?
So I guess for me, it's the same as this year. When you've been off in off season, not competing. For me, it takes a little bit of. I need that first show to get used to getting back on stage.
Yeah.
Um, so Toronto was kind of that for me. Um, and then I went to Atlanta next, and I dieted too hard. I felt I was compared. And you know what, David, quite frankly, even today, I'm not big enough in terms, I don't feel, I'm not judging my body or anything. I'm very happy with what it does. But
Yeah.
when I look at the other competitors, I know I still have room that I have to improve on.
Yeah.
Um, and size is one. Conditioning is something that comes easy for me,
Hmm.
or easier. But I guess with conditioning, you're going to lose some size. So you're kind of you're playing that game. And I
That's
try
true.
and play to my strengths, and my strength is conditioning. So that's kind of how I've looked at it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. So and then we went to Chicago, and I love Chicago show. I don't know why. I've gone there twice, and I've loved it every time.
Yeah.
I just
It's a
love
good
that.
one.
I love Chicago, and I love the Chicago show. Um, what's really hard with the two Tim Gardner shows I found last year with the Chicago and Tampa was the way they had them separated. Because I did the Masters competitions and I did the Open.
Oh
So,
yeah.
for example, in Tampa, I got off stage, and a couple hours later, I had to be back in hair and makeup to do the Open, prep. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was, it was really challenging. I'm not sure I would do both the Masters and Open competitions again.
Yeah, because the Masters is Thursday night and then Friday is the Open. So yeah, you're going. Yeah, but that would be tough, I bet, to
It
do.
was. It was. So Tampa was like that. Chicago was a little easier, but
Hmm.
it's not like you could go home and have a free meal because you knew you had to get back on stage.
Yeah.
So, um,
So
I found it challenging, I guess, to do both the Masters and the Open shows. It would be really nice if it was on the same day, like Toronto was on the same day.
yeah. Oh,
So
oh, I
you got
understand.
it done in one day. You went home and it was done. But
I think
yeah, no,
even from like a fan perspective, I prefer that too, and have it on the same day because
yeah.
it's out. That's another thing is it's another set of tickets you're buying, and they're kind of expensive too. So
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
they are, like my poor partner, he has like I mean he has to shell out an awful lot. You know what, even to compete in Victoria it was like $70 for the
Hmm.
pre-judging, and then you had to pay another $70 to go to finals, it was that's
Yeah,
not that's not cheap for people wanting to watch the shows, I,
I
I
know.
think it's expensive anyway.
I know. I would like to see them lower the prices to maybe fill the seating more, because I think they'd get more people to come if they lower the prices a
Absolutely.
bit and not carve up all these ticket prices too, because I think that just gets prohibitively expensive sometimes. And so, yeah, I get off my
So I
soapbox.
had I had family in Vancouver, and my uncle, God love him, he shelled out the money and came, but
Uh-huh.
like the rest of the family, they just thought it was too much money to come, right?
I understand. Yeah, it does. It adds up. Yeah, I get it. I understand. But yeah, no, I was curious, do you have a preference for open and or masters, or do you like to do both?
I have a preference for open,
Yeah,
um, and that's because I just want to be judged with everybody.
yeah,
I
I
don't want to be judged based on age. I
uh-huh.
just I just want to. I often do the master shows. Again, it's for me. It's just more exposure to get up on stage,
Yeah,
and the masters is usually before the open, so I get that kind of nervous energy
uh-huh.
out of the way.
Oh, I got you.
Um, yeah. So, but I just want to be judged against everybody, So
I
that's
was
why I
curious,
like the open shows.
are you qualified for Masters though, or would you be interested in doing Masters Olympia?
I'm not interested in doing that right now.
Yeah,
And I guess that's because Japan to me seems so far away,
yeah,
and I don't know how I would handle with that travel, if
that's a
I'm
long
honest
way.
with you. I
Yeah,
went to Australia once and I thought, oh my gosh, like 13 hours. After, we have to fly from Newfoundland to Vancouver and then Vancouver down to Australia, and I thought,
Oh,
oh
wow.
boy, I don't think I can take these long flights.
Yeah.
So, and I hear Japan is very expensive. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
that's true.
I'm not, you know, but I did not win a master show last year. I won the year before. I won the over 40 and over 50 Chicago, I think,
Oh,
in
okay.
Chicago. But I came second last year. I didn't win a show last year.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know Japan is really far away, and I was thinking about maybe going, but I don't think I'm going to be able to afford to do it. It's just too expensive. And
Yeah,
but yeah, I'd love to go though and check it out.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they move it a little closer to home in the future.
I think so. I think that yeah, I suspect they will. And yeah, hopefully, yeah, even Europe would be better if you will.
Yes.
Yeah. Even like Romania last or 2 years ago was easier to get to, I think, than Japan. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I was curious, have you sought out any feedback from the judges in terms of where to improve your physique or your presentation?
I have, and one of the things I have to work on is, and I think a lot of women that are older and have had families, we all struggle with core control or more of a blocky core. And
Yeah.
I've been resistant to do things like to concentrate on it or wear waist trainers or things like that. So,
Yeah.
um, that's one of the things I think I have to focus on,
Okay.
and being able to control my core better on stage.
Yeah, I understand.
Um, but when you're nervous and everything is really hard to breathe.
Oh, I
so,
bet. Yeah.
so,
It makes it tougher for
so it's
sure.
something I have to work on. And I still think that, like the, you know, I still have to put some size on. So.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Um, I was curious when you go to your shows, do you try to talk to the judges afterwards? Or
I so so this is where shyness is also a problem because I find it hard to go up and talk to people after, but I
yeah.
made myself do it this time,
Oh,
and
good.
I
Okay.
did, and so yeah, and I did it last year when I was in Chicago as well, but
Okay.
it's not easy. That's not an easy thing for me.
I
My
got
partner makes fun of me because he can talk to anybody,
Oh,
and I find it difficult. So,
no,
that's
I totally
life.
understand that. Especially after they've been sitting there judging you and stuff, and just kind of, yeah, I think it would be a little, I could see it would be a little bit awkward too. So, yeah,
Well, the other thing is like when I don't know about the other girls, but after you finish competing, if they don't, if sometimes the judges are wonderful and they'll come backstage and they're there and you can ask them questions and it's easy.
yeah,
But, if as lots of times the women bodybuilders go on first, and then you've got everything, you've got the other divisions to go, and you just want to
yeah,
go home after the show. You
that's
don't.
true.
So staying around to talk to the judges is not always easy.
Yeah,
Sometimes they'll let you write them, and ask, through an email, but I wouldn't think like, they're not going to remember everybody. They'll have
yeah,
it's so unless you talk to them right away, I think that's the best way to do it.
that's
But
a good
there are
point too.
problems with that.
Yeah, especially with that, you guys going on first sometimes, and then yeah, then you have to wait through everybody else, and
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that would be kind of a pain.
Because like I'm gonna be honest with you, after I compete, I just want out of there. I just want to go. I mean, sometimes it's been a long day. You're tired. You want to go eat and relax. So
I got
um,
you. Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah. And then what y'all do is not easy, it's hard work for sure. So, um,
it is hard work, but you know what? And I have a hard job, but it keeps me even.
yeah.
I don't know how else to say that. Like people will often say, like, because I get up between 3 and 4 every morning and do my cardio, and
Wow.
then I go to work around 7:30,
Okay.
and I work until later in the day, and then I leave work and I go straight to the gym, and then from the gym I go home and I meal prep, and then I go to bed. That's my life. There's not a lot of time to do anything else.
Yeah, I
Um,
get you. Yeah,
but it keeps everything on track,
I
you know.
understand. It kind of gives you focus and gives you
Yeah,
helps build out your schedule and everything. And
yeah.
yeah, no, I think that's
And
good.
I actually find it makes me a better doctor because it just does.
Really?
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. I have talked to a few other physicians on the podcast, and I just am I'm impressed with y'all just because I think it would be tough to juggle um life as a physician doing bodybuilding too. But no, I admire that though. I think that's pretty amazing.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Some days I feel, a bit envious of people that can just do bodybuilding. Like,
Yeah.
but I never have prep. A lot of people will say, how, what do you do in your spare time not to, so you don't think about being hungry or whatnot. I don't have time to even think about it. I
Uh-huh.
don't, I'm always like, just, okay, I got 5 minutes here. I gotta get my meal in, so,
Yeah.
um, I don't, it just works.
That's cool. No, I think that's good though. Yeah. Um, I was curious, where did you get your pro card? Did you get it in up there in Canada with CPA show or?
I got my pro card at the Ben Weeder Naturals
Oh, did you?
in
Oh, very
twenty
cool.
in 2019.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I competed in women's physique.
Oh,
I
cool.
loved, I loved Dana Lynn Bailey and Juliana Melicarney, and yeah, I loved the women's physique division,
Yeah.
and I loved that I didn't have to wear shoes because, quite frankly, I suck in high heels.
And the heels, yeah, that's not easy, I don't think.
You got to do a routine, and I just felt like you could express your individuality a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, but I have to give credit to Kenny Wallach. He was my posing coach back then,
Okay.
and we were posing one day, and all of a sudden he said, "I gotta go," and I was like, "Oh my God, I must have been really bad today," because he just left our FaceTime posing session, and um, I always, because I always wanted to do well when I was posing with him. Anyway, he went and talked to my coach, and he said to my coach, she needs to be in women's bodybuilding. And
Really?
so the two of them
Oh,
decided that very day that I was going to compete in women's bodybuilding.
oh
And
wow.
it was 2 weeks to Chicago show, 2 or
Okay.
3 weeks, David, and I didn't even know how to pose as a women's bodybuilder.
Oh wow.
And but I did, and I went and I won two of the divisions I competed in that I just spoke about. So
Great.
I've been in love with it ever since.
What year was that you started women's bodybuilding division?
2022, 2023.
Oh, cool.
One of
Okay.
those. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. That's awesome. No, I think that was a good move for you, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, it was anyway one of those years. It's funny they all go together after all.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Oh, the years all blend together for me. So definitely can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Anyway.
curious if there's any advice you could provide to ladies who are seeking to earn their pro card, because I know it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, but any other tips you could provide?
It's there's no magic bullet. It's just consistency. It's just consistently doing the same thing every day, you
Hmm.
know? Um, and that's what's working. You do it every day, and you do it to the best of your ability, and you add a perfect day onto a perfect day onto a perfect day until, eventually, hopefully, um, you get better, and you go to a show, and You can display that. There are a lot of things though in this sports that in this sport that you can't control,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
that's it. Sometimes the one thing that I love about this, not one thing, but one of the things I love about this sport is you can be the best you have ever looked in your life and come last.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you can look the worst you've ever looked and come first. Because a lot of it depends on, things that are out of your control.
Yeah.
Um,
Depends on who shows up, you
who
know.
shows up, what
Yeah,
the
definitely.
judges like,
Hmm.
how you look on that particular day.
Hmm.
Um, So, the things you can control, you control.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
Yeah, definitely. That's true. Yeah. And I know, yeah, that sometimes it's pretty tough competition, to have a pretty tough lineup. I was impressed, for instance, with the Emerald Cup women's physique lineup. There was a really tough lineup at that
is there?
show. Yeah, and for the 40, they only have one division for women's physique, it's 40 plus. And I was like, damn, it's a tough, gonna be a tough show for sure. So um
Cool.
um I was curious, what do you think is your best muscle group and what do you think needs the most improvement?
So I tend to like things that are lagging because
Uh-huh.
um, when I guess, I love legs and I love back. They're the hardest to train and they've been the hardest for me to grow. I
Uh-huh.
mean, as a runner, I had no quads to speak of. I'd run them
Oh,
off, when I
yeah.
started. So I was
Uh-huh.
starting from nothing. Um, and then I really had to work hard at my back to
Uh-huh.
get that to grow. So they were hard for me, so I love them.
Oh, yeah.
I think when things come too easy for us, we kind of, you know, not you. I don't know. You don't get. You can get more easily to get bored with it because you just comes to you more naturally.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think there's any part of my body that I love more than another.
Okay.
It's just a constant work in progress.
Oh yeah, your back is really good though. I do like your back a lot. Yeah,
It's coming.
I liked how you hit the most muscular pose too during the pose down. That was cool. And I think
I
during your
owe Alyssa Kiesling for that because I'd never done it before. She said you should try that.
oh yeah, oh she does that. Oh, she does hit that a lot. And that actually was my next question. I think, is she your posing coach, Alyssa?
I worked with Alyssa of this year. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's cool that you
yeah,
incorporated that, and because that was in your posing routine too, I think.
it was. It was.
Yeah, that's awesome. How long have you worked with her?
Just the last few months, just this year. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. And I was curious, do you have a prep coach too?
Yes, Chris Edmonds is and it's not just prep. I've been working with Chris since I really started bodybuilding.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Um, and we just work very well together. And he's never steered me wrong. And as far as coaches go, he's just amazing. So I started with Chris, and I'm still with Chris.
Do you work with
And
him?
it's I work with him all year long. So, and I've
Oh yeah.
always done that because I don't ever divide prep from off season, if you will. It's always a constant work, you
Yeah.
know, a constant progression. So, yeah, and I think prep is easier when you've had a coach that's worked with you in off season
Yeah.
because they know where you're coming from, so you can just um, more gradually move into that.
Did you work with him remotely, or is he's
Yes.
not in Newfoundland, is he?
No, no,
Okay.
no. Chris is in West Virginia.
Oh.
He's the lead coach for John Meadows. Um,
Oh yeah. John had passed away, didn't he?
yes, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. No, it's great that you worked with him and working with Alyssa too. And I really like Alyssa's posing style. She got that kind of classical posing style, and
She
yeah,
does.
yeah, I
Yeah,
like
she's
that.
great.
I was curious, what would you say is the most challenging aspect of prep for you?
That's a hard one. I mean, it's none of it's easy.
I
I
know.
think that I think, my what I really try and do, and I'm not always successful, is I I don't want people to know I'm in prep. I still want to be myself. I don't want to snap at people or be short or be hangry, if you will. I
Mm,
really just want to move through it, and
hmm.
sometimes I'm good at that, and sometimes I'm not so good at that.
Yeah,
Um,
I understand.
I think the hardest part is I don't sleep when I'm in prep.
Oh no, really?
And
That's not
I'm a
good.
crappy sleeper anyway, so you add prep on top of that, and I don't know why I don't sleep very well. So,
Oh,
but I've been very effective this prep. I've accomplished a lot of things. So, because it's really wonderful when you don't sleep. You got a
oh
lot more
no.
time.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, but I know sleep is important though. And
The sleep is absolutely important. I'm making light of it, but I've never needed a lot of sleep. I guess that's one of the benefits of being in the business I'm in. You got
yeah,
used to functioning on very little sleep,
yeah,
and but I really don't sleep well in prep. So that's really hard because you want to
yeah,
be able to be rested. You know, rest is
yeah.
important.
I was curious, one thing I forgot to ask you earlier, are you going to do any other shows this year or can you say it?
Oh, of course. So I'm gonna do Toronto in I guess a little over 5 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We're hoping to be able to put 5 to 6 pounds of size on between Vancouver and Toronto, and I'm really working hard on my core for the next 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay.
I've been working with Karina Anji,
Okay.
um, and I don't know if I said that right, from Brazil, and she's
Okay.
been helping me kind of control. It might take longer than 6 weeks, but there it is. Consistency. Just try and
Yeah.
keep doing it every day.
That's terrific. That's great. Yeah. And Toronto is a good show too, I've heard. Yeah. And
Well, it's easy, being in Canada, it's easier for us to get to right now.
oh, I bet. Yeah, no, that's true. I totally understand that too. I've heard, is it Ron Hachey? I've heard that he's a really good promoter.
Ron Hasha, yeah, he's
Hachey.
also the president of CPA, so
Yeah.
kind of the amateur IFBB, if you will.
I always thought
Oh, NPC, that's what it is in the US. NPC is CPA is kind of the NPC in Canada.
they kind of um in my mind, I think about certified public accountant. So I thought if like the CPA bodybuilders met up with the CPA accountants, it would be an interesting mix, you know. It could just be like happened by accident, you know, and
I guess.
it would be interesting though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, I was curious if you could provide any advice to ladies who are looking for a good coach, like what should they be looking out for a good coach?
Yeah, so I have been super lucky. And I guess that's, because of that, I've stuck with, I'm not stuck with, I'm still with the same coach that I started with.
Yeah.
Um, But Chris has always been responsive quickly. Like if I write him, he gets back to me within, I can say minutes, but realistically, he's always gets back to me within a number of hours.
Okay.
Um, and he's always pushing me to level up, to be better.
Okay.
So I think, somebody who's responsive, um, and who has your best interests at heart and but still is pushing you to be better all the time.
Hmm. That's cool.
um yeah,
That's great. No, I think that's important to have somebody who's going to push you, but is responsive and understands your needs. And I've heard a lot that a good coach will kind of look out for your mental health too. You know, I think that's important as well
absolutely.
because it is such a draining, you know. kind of arduous sport in some ways when you're getting ready for a show and you're, you know, depleted and hungry and or hangry, you know.
Well, for me, Chris has to try and calm down enough so that I can get up and pose on stage. So
Oh yeah.
he doesn't have an easy job there.
Always
I
gotta
wish he
talk you
was,
into it. Yeah.
I've always wished he was closer because,
Yeah.
you know, to have that before you go on stage, I think would be um, really great. We were together when I did my first Chicago show, and it was wonderful. So,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and that's, you know, that's not his. That's my weakness is, you know, being able to control my nerves um, enough to get up on stage and just perform because it really is a bit of a performance, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a grinder, you know, put me in the gym and I'm just gonna work as hard as I can and um, you know, that kind of
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, that'd be tough to as kind of a shy person to get up on stage like that, I would think. And do you think now that you've done it for a few years now, I mean, do you feel like you're less nervous before you get up on stage?
nope.
No?
No, it should be getting easier, but it isn't.
Oh
Maybe
no.
maybe it's because it means so much to you, you know?
Yeah.
And the more you're into it, the more it means to you.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, you're right. It should be. I guess it is a little easier, but in some respects, no, it's not.
I understand that. Yeah. No, I totally understand. Oh man. Um, Now, in terms of being a neurologist, I find that really fascinating, and was curious, like, how long have you worked in that profession? And you said you specialize, you have a specialty too within neurology.
Yeah, so I've been a neurologist for 20 years,
Wow.
um, and I subspecialize in movement disorders. So they're more neurodegenerative diseases, so things like Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease.
Mm,
You know, people that have Tourette syndrome or tics or tremors, those
mhm,
types of problems, dystonia.
mm.
Um, I recently, during this prep, actually am starting a medical aesthetics business as well
Okay.
because I've been doing things like injections with botulinum toxin or Botox for 20 years or more.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
kind of, you know, that's helping because in the sense that you know, people with neurodegenerative diseases, it can be heavy. Um,
Mhm.
there's not there's no cures for a lot of the diseases I work with,
Yeah.
or people that have diseases that I work with, I should say. Um, so it can weigh on you, and I'm sure it's the same way in the States. Medicine is not easy. It's these days, you know, to be a field to be in.
Yeah.
Um,
That's true.
so I found, you know, I was burning out a bit. I am enjoying the medical aesthetics world. It's a bit, it's nice to make people feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Are you going to do more full time that, do you think, instead of the neurology, or try to do both?
Um, I'm doing both. You know, yeah, I can't see me ever completely leaving neurology. But when
Mm,
it comes to, you know, injections, I mean, I think as a neurologist, I know where all the nerves and the muscles and the, you know, those types of things are. So
mm.
I hope people can feel confident in coming to see me for those treatments. I actually did neurosurgery before I did neurology, and
Really?
so
Wow.
I really like working with my hands and doing procedures. So that's helping me get back to that.
So you've done brain surgery?
I have. I was
Really?
a resident in it. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. That's so cool. I was I always thought that was kind of creepy, like when they keep the person awake while they're doing the brain surgery. And I just can't imagine somebody working up there when when I'm awake,
So I do a lot of that now, as
Really?
a neurologist, actually, because a lot of the treatments for advanced Parkinson's disease are called like is deep brain stimulation surgery. So we plant electrodes down into the
Mm,
brains of advanced Parkinson's patients to help control their symptoms.
yeah.
So patients are awake for that procedure. Um,
Wow. That's amazing.
yeah,
You just
but
numb me up really good. I just wouldn't want
okay.
to. Oh my gosh. That's amazing though. And yeah, that must be really rewarding work though to help people like that too. But then
It
yeah,
is, but it's also heavy, David, like,
yeah.
and I've never been really good at letting things roll off my back. I'm getting, I think you have to
Mm,
develop that, but when you really care about people, it's really hard to
yeah,
always not let them penetrate that wall that you should probably have to protect yourself a little bit.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
so.
Mm,
So I think for someone like me, it's easier to get a little bit burnt out over time.
I understand. Yeah. I can see you could have too much empathy in that kind of situation. And yeah, no, I totally understand that. I was curious, do your coworkers and the people you work with support your bodybuilding efforts? Did they, because it's not your typical hobby,
No, it isn't. Support, I'm not sure. I mean, they'll wish me luck when I going off to a competition, but
Yeah.
um, no, I don't think people. You have to. Newfoundland is a place that's people are very much love their food and very
Mhm.
much love their drink.
Oh
so,
yeah.
so somebody who doesn't drink and is very careful about every gram of food that goes in her mouth, it's they don't really understand it too
I got
much.
you. Yeah. I totally understand that. Yeah. Um, and yeah, I could see up in cold north, drinking a lot of beer and such. Yeah.
Well, in Newfoundland, I think rum is the drink of choice here, but I could be wrong. But I think a lot of
Oh,
people drink rum and Pepsi.
really? I could see that. Yeah. That's kind of tasty. Not the healthiest though, but yeah. No.
Oh, I got other bad habits. I don't need to take that one up.
Yeah, no, no. Um, you mentioned you have a partner too, and is he supportive of your bodybuilding efforts, and is he a bodybuilder himself?
No, no,
Yeah.
he's not an athlete. Um, but he does what he can. He's always been supportive that way. So
Cool.
I've been very, very, very lucky. Yeah.
What about like if he's eating regular food and you're eating your prep food?
Oh, he's a foodie. So that's not changing.
Uh-huh.
I just better, suck it up because nope, we've sat down and and he's had his pizza and hamburgers or whatever, and that's just it. I'm not a foodie, so I'm very lucky that way. I'm not somebody. I'm okay. Like I have like 5 foods that I eat every day.
Oh yeah. That's the thing that drive me crazy, I think, about bodybuilding. I just couldn't handle it. That sameness of the food, just be like,
No, no. My partner loves food. Like he loves the enjoyment that comes over his face when he eats is absolutely amazing.
But that's not good if you have to deal with the smells and stuff. I'd be like,
I don't know. It's okay. I don't. I'm all right there. I don't.
okay, cool. Um, I was curious, are your parents still alive?
Both my parents are still alive. Yes, yeah. They have not been real keen on this
No?
endeavor.
Oh, really?
we'll just
Oh,
we'll call it that.
they're like, oh, what's she up to here? Yeah. Do they, how about come to your shows and yell for you and stuff like that?
Not so much, but they do watch it on the live streams
Oh,
in
cool.
the
Okay.
last couple of years.
Nice.
Um, but I'm going to be honest. I try very hard to limit my connections with some of my family during prep and some prep time because prep is hard and work is hard, and I don't have the mental stamina, if you will, to deal with discouragement
Yeah,
at that when you're feeling depleted and down and that kind of.
yeah.
So I do limit my connection.
I understand that. And it's good. Yeah, I think it's good to surround yourself with some positivity when you're,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Yeah, no, I get that. I totally understand that. And I have heard from several ladies whose parents are not that supportive too, or they just don't understand it, so, and they just
So
want you
my
to
dad
do.
was actually a phys ed teacher.
Oh,
So it
really?
surprised me when he wasn't. He
Huh.
doesn't consider bodybuilding a sport. It's not like, to him,
Oh,
a sport is a team sport. It's
yeah.
more, yeah, basketball or baseball or hockey or whatever.
I
It's
see. Yeah.
so
Huh.
that's.
I think bodybuilding is a team sport in a way because it takes a village. I tell people it takes a village to
It
look that
does.
good, so. No, I understand though. And you did say you have a one daughter, or do you have
I
more?
have one daughter. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
she's just finishing university. Actually, she did an undergraduate degree in science. So we're
Cool.
going up for a convocation now in May. Yeah.
Terrific. And is she supports your efforts in bodybuilding too?
She doesn't discourage me.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
really not sure how she feels about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think in some respects, at the end of the day, I'm still her mother, so,
Yeah.
um, and, but yet she doesn't discourage me either, so,
You mentioned she liked to see you compete at Boston Marathon, which was kind of neat, but
yes,
um
she did. When I think the difference though there, David, was when we used to go to the Boston Marathon, we would there's like 20, 25 of us that would all go, and only half of the people were runners, but the other half we used to tease were called Team B, if you will. So there
okay.
was a real, support system, and she just liked going from room to room and chatting with people.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I'm not sure it was the actual marathon she was, but she just liked the social part of it. So, I
I think
mean,
Boston was a cool city too. I think it's a
oh,
neat place to
Boston's
visit.
lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that marathon. I love that marathon. I mean, they drive you out, drop you off, and tell you to run home.
Yeah.
So it's basically what it is. So I've done it, I think, 7 times.
I was curious. So were the year of the bombing, were you there?
Yes, yeah.
Oh wow. Like how far were you from where the bombing took place? I was
I
curious.
was at the finish line.
Oh, you were.
I
Wow.
was. Yeah, it was very scary at the time. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I
Wow.
didn't know where my family was. I didn't know where my daughter was. I didn't know where. Um,
Hmm.
and then all I remember is all these black SUVs coming at me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, and everything was shut down. We didn't know how we were getting back. We were staying at a hotel near the airport, so we didn't really know how we were getting back there.
Yeah.
Um, it was
Wow.
it, it was scary at the time. No,
Must
no
have been
doubt.
pretty chaotic too. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, what was sad though is, like, I mean, I can sit here and tell you I crossed the finish line. I finished the race. A lot of my friends didn't. They shut the race down, right? So they trained all that time and they didn't get to finish. You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, then none, and any of your friends didn't get hurt, I hope. No, or
No,
no.
no, they
Okay.
didn't.
Yeah.
No, we were all safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's um the most important thing is your safety too. So, but yeah, it just must have been devastating to be there at the time. Um, I just have a couple more questions because I know you're running low on time and I'm heading to New Orleans tomorrow, so
I
I
know.
get
That's
packed.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited about it. Um, I was just curious, what do you think is like the most misunderstood aspect of bodybuilding? Because I think, y'all have to deal with a lot of myths and misinformation about the sport, but what would you say?
That's a really tough question.
Mm.
Um, I think, what I find interesting is a lot of women will come up to me in the gym and say, oh, how did you put, that much muscle on or whatever? And they think, that, well, I don't really want to get that big, And I'm like, okay, well, good luck to you because, I've been trying my darndest to grow. And I don't think that, if you just start training and lifting weights in the gym, you're just going to blow up and develop all these muscles.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I mean, I
true.
think, it's a lot of people think it's easier than it actually is
Yeah,
to, bu-
I got you.
to build muscle.
No, I know it takes a lot of hard work and very intentional, I think, to get that big, so yeah, people don't understand that. I got you. I've heard that too from other ladies on my podcast too,
Is that true?
that
Okay.
they've
Yeah.
encountered that a lot.
Okay. There you go.
I was curious if you ever have to deal with like any overbearing fans. I know the fans can be weird and send weird shit sometimes, but so I want to tell the fans out there, y'all gotta be respectful to these ladies.
I've been very lucky. And I guess when people make different comments, I don't pay attention to them.
Mm,
I
cool.
try not to, I try very hard to stay in my own lane and do my own thing.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah.
but, I think we've all heard, the comments about, some people just don't understand women putting on muscle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think some of these keyboard warriors can be kind of just trying to push your buttons, trying to be mean and stuff, and
Yeah.
but
Well, I've joked with you how completely, you know, um, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not very good at social media, so um, I don't even know how to read comments sometimes.
oh really? Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time to spend on it, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, but
Understood.
when I do, it's because I have something to say or because there's something I want to put out there. I don't do it frequently. Um, you know, I guess I really just want to be authentic and put things out that have some kind of meaning.
Yeah, I gotcha. I think that's good. Yeah.
But to answer your question, I don't spend a lot of time on social media, so
Yeah.
even if people had been not so kind to me, I probably would see it.
Oh yeah, I got you. You can always block them and delete them too. So just like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I was just curious, is there anything that I've missed that you'd like to address or anybody you'd like to shout out?
I don't think there's anything you haven't addressed. I mean, there's so many people. Like you said, it takes a village to do this sport.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky to meet like fantastic people.
Mm,
I think that's why I stay in this sport is because some of the people, it's the people, they're my partner and I have made wonderful friends and had wonderful relationships through this sport.
that's
So
great. Yeah,
I have nothing but positive things to say about it.
that's terrific. No, I'm really pleased to hear that. Yeah. And it is it I've met so many nice people in the sport and yeah, definitely admire y'all for your hard work and dedication.
And thank you very, very, very much for doing this and supporting us. I mean, I just think it's amazing. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. I always tell the ladies just to you can listen to my interviews while you're doing cardio and you don't need to watch it. You can just listen, just
Absolutely.
yeah. I was curious, I you I think I know the answer to this. You probably don't have time for sponsors, but are you interested in sponsors?
Yeah, but I don't have any sponsors, and that's hard in the sense that, I'm not a salaried person. So
Hmm.
when I go to compete, I'm not working. So
Yeah.
you're not making any money.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's not easy.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I also recognize that these companies, you need to be offering them something in
Hmm.
order for them to sponsor you,
That's
right?
true.
You do, and part of that comes through social media, and as I said earlier, it's not something I'm really good at. So,
Yeah.
I understand why I don't have sponsors, if you will.
Sure.
It'd be
Yeah.
really great if I did, but that's it.
Maybe you could get some in-kind sponsors, or suit sponsor or something like that. Might be kind of nice because I know the suits can be really expensive and such. So
They can.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all expensive, Dave.
I know it is. That's some big bucks to compete in the sport.
I mean, when you think about it, like registration, the suit, the travel, the hotels, the rental cars. I mean, it's the food.
And
It
even
can
just
all add up.
to be in the Masters show, you have to do the Masters fee and everything too. So
You do. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I know it gets really expensive. So, well,
Yeah.
folks, hopefully maybe some sponsors will want to reach out to you. So that would be cool.
Uh, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Kina. It's really nice meeting you, and thank you for the interview. I was curious, would you be cool with doing like a quick bicep flex for me?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, you're looking good. Nice. Thank you. And best wishes to you in Toronto. I'll definitely be keeping an
Thanks.
eye on and hope you do really well there too. I hope I know it's a tough show. They always get a lot of women
They
bodybuilding
do.
competitors
But
there.
I can't wait. I'm ready to go. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's like a month and a half ago or away or so.
Little over 5.5 weeks. Yeah, five
Mhm.
weeks and 5 days.
Nice, very cool. Well, yeah, best wishes to you and hope to get to see you compete. I did see you in Tampa last year and it was great to see you on stage there. So but hope that
Tampa show is very near and dear to my heart. Yeah, I love that show. I've met some fantastic people in Tampa. I really have. My partner and I have made really good friends there. So
nice.
I love Tampa.
Tampa's a great place. I know and I hope that maybe some of the craziness with the border and Canadians coming to USA will kind of get worked out because we need y'all to come down to Florida. We need the money.
We love coming.
It's nice to get away from that cold weather too.
Yes.
Um, oh,
And
but
we thank you very much for having me.
yes, thank you. I just pushed the wrong button there. But thank you. No, and I'll get this posted shortly. But thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, David.